So as you can tell by that opening, I am feeling much better now. Yeah. Silent films don't get enough credit. They really don't. And here, I don't have an actual DVD case for Nosferatu, but I do have this gorgeous thing. Big metal tin case. I don't even think you can get this anymore. The box, like, it has a proper case for all the DVDs inside, and my absolute favorite part, besides the scary sound CD that it comes with, is I love Halloween. So I mentioned pretty early on that I like really, really old horror movies. One of my favorites, I said, was The Cabin of Dr. Caligari, which is another silent film. And this one so far has been the hardest one for me to review, because I really had to think about why I love silent films so much. So I even rewatched Cabin of Dr. Caligari, and then I watched Nosferatu, and I think I may have come up with something. There is a lot of things that get taken for granted in movies today that they did in spades in silent films. Everything from the set design, to the way characters look, to the way they act, their movements, the way they emote. Everything is exaggerated, everything is rememberable, all because there is no sound and there is no color. And I was saying that one of the biggest problems that I had with Blair Witch and Rosemary's Baby, and also the issue I had with Invisible Man and a few other movies, was how much talking there was. There was all this talking going back and forth from characters that weren't really important to the story. Instead of looking at, the character that the movie's named after. And it just ended up feeling like, in some cases, a slog of mud to go through before we get to, in the case of Rosemary's Baby and Blair Witch, a very unsatisfying ending. Nosferatu, on the other hand, it feels very satisfying, even though it changed a lot from the original story. In the original story, there's this whole, standoff between, Van Helsing and all these other characters versus Dracula and his wives. That doesn't happen in this movie. Which is another thing. The silent movies were much shorter than movies we have today, so I don't think they could have properly fit the entire book into this movie if they tried. What we do get, on the other hand, is a lot more character development with the few characters we see. A lot more scenes with Dracula, specifically on the boat. The boat, we usually just hear about how there was all these deaths on the boat that were mysterious, and it might be the plague. And then the ship pulls into harbor with the entire crew dead. Here we actually get to see Dracula rise up from his coffin and attack the crew one by one. Also, Van Helsing does diddly squat in this movie. He's mainly just there because he knows about vampiric plants. He doesn't really do anything for the plot. Which I find absolutely hilarious. The real hero of this story, the real main character that saves the day, is Mina, the fiancé to the solicitor that Dracula calls to his castle in the first place. There's this little book. I can't even remember where they got it from. I think the solicitor dude, I think his name is Harker. I think he got it from the inn he was staying at in Transylvania the night before he went to Dracula's castle, which seems to be a vampire handbook. It has things like it has like all the legends about vampires inside of it. It's what helps him realize what's wrong with him when he sees there's 2 bites in his neck. And at the ending of the movie, and I cannot make this up, there's a passage in the book that says, and Mina's the only one who sees this, she reads that only a woman pure of heart who offers herself willingly to Dracula will defeat him. and she must keep him with her until after the cock crows. So after morning has risen. So she, knowing that Dracula is in the city and that it's not actually a plague, knowing that he has been staring at her constantly from his window, she tricks her fiancé into leaving the building. She fakes sickness, and he leaves her to get the doctor, and that's when she offers herself up to Dracula. Dracula comes over, sucks her blood, and then morning rises, and he tries to escape, but it's too late, and Dracula is destroyed. Unfortunately, Mina is also killed in the process. All of this is very different from Mina being the damsel in distress and the linchpin, the catalyst that causes all the dudes to go fight Dracula. I know that Mina had more to do in the story than just that. I know she was there at the final showdown of Dracula, but the whole reason they went and finally hunted down Dracula was because they needed to free Mina from the curse. Here, there is no curse. Mina is basically saving the city of her own free will. And with her own ingenuity. And that's the other thing, is that the characters in this story are smart. When they're in trouble, they actually think things through as much as you can when a vampire is after you. And actually think about what they're doing before they say, I don't know, throw a map into a river, or lock themselves in a building that people have the keys to. Yes, I am still salty, okay? Make no mistake, Nosferatu is not scary. Most of the horror films from this day and age that they were made aren't scary today. But they are entertaining. If someone was to walk up to me yesterday after I watched the last 2 films and said, "Are you not entertained?" I would reply, No, I bloody well wasn't. I want my money back. Here, I was interested in the characters, in the adventure. I was interested in seeing what was different from the book. And I did not see that ending coming, that's for sure. And it just the way they're acting and the movements they make just shows me how much we seem to have lost in our movies. Because people think that it's okay to just have characters talk in a room and not actually do anything. having no movement, having no reactions, just dully talking to each other in a monotone voice. Because apparently that's sexy. I don't know. So that was Nosferatu. I badly needed to watch that. But don't worry, guys. Tomorrow's video, we're going to be looking at something much more scarier. I hope. Remember to like, fave, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.